All right, here we are.
Good morning.
So we have.
Good morning.
Let me make sure everything looks good. It's episode 22.
My age.
Special. Well, speaking of that. Speaking of that.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Who is the youngest in this leadership group?
Oh my gosh, are we really starting with
It would
that?
be you.
And who's the oldest?
It would be me.
That's right.
And who's the prettiest? Not either one of
No,
us.
we are the rose. No, we're not the rose. We're the
Right.
thorns,
We are the thorns with two roses on either side of us.
So we have a super special event today. You got all of us in one room.
All of us in one room? That doesn't happen very often.
No, not just pretty much every Monday. So first, want to put the spotlight on Jennifer Hill, who is the newest addition to our All-Star team.
Mm-hmm.
And now Jennifer is going to be running our Green Valley office. I have, man, should I put it out there? I have a lease on my desk. It
Yes!
is a 50-pager
Yes!
that I am working through right now. I am not going to disclose exactly where it is, but it is in the district.
I was having such a hard time just
Holding
it in
Holding it
yesterday,
back.
and it's like,
We are
Almost there.
We are 99% there. We're ready to go over the finish line. So, we don't take it lightly hiring leadership, right? Because it was just my father and I for like the first 4 or 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and we would just bang heads on decisions. But it was just us in Summerlin. So it's nice to have smarter people than us to help us make some decisions.
And see how psycho that the two of us are compared to the two of
Yes,
them.
without a doubt. But
Yeah.
I think they've
Embraced it.
embraced it. So Georgia has been with us almost a year now.
Coming up on a year, because I think I officially, my first day was January 2nd.
That's right.
So
We went brand new with the Southwest office. Now,
Mhm.
listen, opening an office is not an easy thing,
No.
right? There's tons of upfront expenses. It's a huge commitment. You got to jump in with both feet. You can't just kind of like see what the temperature is. And God, within like 6 months, you had that up to 100 agents, and not just
that's awesome.
and everyone, yeah, isn't it
That's
fantastic?
awesome.
But people focus too much on the agents.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing like 75 transactions a month, which shows that it's not just bodies.
Right.
It's actually people doing business.
Mm-hmm.
So couldn't be more ecstatic.
That's a quality office.
It really
That's
is.
awesome.
There's a
Thank you.
lot of amazing producers.
We've
in there.
got some pretty awesome people doing amazing things, which just creates that synergy and the momentum. And it's just that attitude like, hey guys, we're all crossing the finish line. Anybody that wants to work, you're coming with us.
Yes.
And I really love that culture and that approach. at
Even
that
if we have to
office.
drag your ass over.
Every once in a while, I
Get the hook.
usually give them a quick kick and then they're
Yes.
up and running again.
And all our offices are fully staffed.
Yes.
So there's front desk, transaction coordinator in every office. So the minute it opens, we got people that are gonna work, and it's not like, oh my God, I gotta work up to this. We're there.
Absolutely. I
So
love
and
it.
Jen,
Really looking forward to the Green Valley. I could not be more excited about this. It's hard for me to really contain. So
and this isn't your first rodeo, right? I mean, give me a
no,
little
it's
background where you.
It's a
not
third-
my first
It's a
rodeo.
third or fourth rodeo.
What was it? Wardley signature, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And we took the one office from about 40 agents up to just right under 200, and I'm not looking to do that many again,
Yep.
Mhm.
because it is about the quality,
Mhm.
which I love what we've talked about and where it's going, and we have a vision that everybody's on board for and that everybody's supportive of. Some of the other things that changing out on Fridays,
Yep.
that's awesome.
So
I love it.
what Jennifer's talking about is we kind of play musical chairs on Fridays. So Georgia comes here to Summerlin, Jennifer goes to the Southwest, Green
And
Valley.
these two just take off now.
Yes. Green Valley isn't completely
That's a
open
rejuve Friday for me.
because we want all the agents to know all of our brokers, and then through video and everything, we kind of have like like not even first stop. So Green Valley agent would call Jennifer first, and then she can go down the line. She called Georgia, she called my father, then she called me, and then Summerlin, same thing. She called my dad, call me, call Georgia, call Jennifer.
She didn't have the baby.
She has not had her. She literally any moment, like she could go into labor now.
I'm ready.
She ready.
So we're aging.
Just so you know, somebody who was very pregnant walked by.
And all of our edges went that way.
She has a dog on her belly.
Yes.
Remember, in my police and fire days, I did deliver 2 babies. So I will go out there and tell her if assist is needed, I could still do that.
There you go.
Yeah, because that's not creepy at all. Hey, you want me to deliver that baby for you?
I can. I have my gloves in my
His
room.
sleeves
Yes.
are already rolled up, so there
Totally.
we go.
Totally. It's like little me too-ish, a little bit.
No.
All right, so the quote of the day, the theme of the
And there we
day
go.
is
Exactly.
is leadership and coaching. So we got a great quote, and the quote goes, "The greatest leaders are not necessarily the ones who do the greatest things. They are the ones that get the people to do the greatest things." And I don't know about you guys, but the thing that I enjoy the most is seeing an agent start here and get to here. Whether it's over a year or 2, it's like it's I don't want to say proud papa, but
No, that's exactly what it feels like, though.
Right.
I mean, if for those that have kids and you watch them, you take their first steps and they fall down, they go through all of that stuff. It's the same thing. I think that is a huge high for me to watch somebody go through the paces and have those aha moments, and they grow, and all of a sudden they're doing 25 transactions in the year, and it's made a huge life change for them, their family. And I got to be a part of that.
You couldn't have said it better.
Mhm.
And it's not just the agent that goes from brand new to 10.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've seen so many agents go from 18 to 80,
Yes.
right? Because it's like compound interest a little bit. The curve just goes and you're going, and then all of a sudden you go right through the roof.
Absolutely.
So the way we feel like, and this isn't a pitch, but we want to talk about leadership, and we feel like, him and I had a conversation a couple of years ago. I'm like, Pops, is our biggest point of difference you and me? This was before you guys were here, and in the tech world, I was starting to get nervous. I was like, wow, are we gonna keep up? And he's like, gotta love my father. He's calm with a lot of these things. He goes, no, that's the secret. And the beauty of 2018 is we all have access to the same tech, right?
No matter what company.
Back in 98 to 2003, if you had the best tech, you had a leg up. Now we all have SkySlope. We all can outsource the tech. So the tech doesn't set you apart anymore, in my opinion.
It actually leveled the playing field.
Exactly.
Even between
Yes.
big broker, medium broker, enormous conglomerate, it leveled it all the way across. And then now you have to say, well, okay, now what's there? What is truly there?
Well,
Because
now it's
that
going to
is
come down to the
completely even.
quality of
The broker.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which,
And the availability.
Spot on.
so that's why we invest so much into this, and our amazing staff. We got to turn this camera around sometime today. Because the person who is our director of operations, Danny, we would not be sitting here without her. And
She even had my coffee for me. She's so neat.
Aw.
but what I love about this is that it not only even the playing field, I believe now it's taken it to another level where the coaching and the leadership and the people are more so the difference than ever. And what I like about this is this can be notched down to agents and their clients. Same exact thing. All the agents have pretty much access to the same exact technology, right? The same leads, the same tools, the same resources, but the quality of that person, how good of a leader, how good a relationship they can create is the secret sauce now, which for 4 of us is a huge advantage moving forward, right?
Well, that's the standard. You set the standard at the very top, and it's just going to trickle down from there. So
Totally. You have anything
we
to say on
set the
that?
bar.
What do I have to say? I say that our team is so awesome because it's a team of more. Bernadette at the front desk, she doesn't just do her job, she does more and more to help everyone. As managers sitting here, we don't say to the agent, blah, 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 get off.
Yeah.
I called an agent back the other day, and she said, no, can't help me. She goes, what do you mean? I said, I already had 2 other people call me and take care of me. And I called her back in 3 minutes. So when you hear something like that, because that phone call is important, and I wait 3 minutes, I think I was getting out of the shower, and she tells me 2 other brokers called her, I'm impressed.
Oh,
And
that was Heidi.
It was Heidi, and it was Ada Fuji.
Oh,
So my answer to you guys is, man, service. You are service. The agents are service to their clients. We are service to you. And if you don't have service and you can't answer and you can't support your agent, like all of us here, from staff to brokerage, then you are not going to be successful.
I think some of our most successful agents, it's when they finally understand that this isn't a job, it's not a career, it's a lifestyle. And that's who they need to be to their clients. And then there's no difference of who we need to be to our agents. Build relationships, be an advocate, and support them in growing their business. And that is really what it comes down to, I think. And all we're doing is behaving the exact way we ask our agents to. And I think that's where a big disconnect is from the different levels in a real estate brokerage.
Well said.
Yes, because when you talk to an agent in an interview and they say it takes 2 days for my broker to get back to me,
I can't comprehend that.
and then I'm calling in 3 minutes and she already had 2 calls, wow, that's a point of difference.
so without knocking other ones, other brokerages, let's say what we are not. So a little veiled way, what we are not. We're not a brokerage that you have to make an appointment and wait 2 days to get an answer.
With
right?
a closed door.
We are not a closed door. We have windows in our offices. In our broker offices, we are literally like in a fishbowl, we call. So we're not that. Because the reality is, and agents and clients and consumers, your issues on these deals, they need to be handled this quicker, right? So that's number one. We're not a brokerage where you can't come in and actually talk to us face to face. We have physical space.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think that's so important because that human connection is where you see what's not being said. And if you want to really honor that relationship with the agent, you've got to be available in person, for sure.
Well, the majority of communication comes from not the spoken word, but your body language, your facial expressions. These things it really plays into it, and the agents need that. They need that, especially if we want them to carry it forward with their client.
Absolutely.
We're not an office of Mr. Tina. I'm Dave. There are many brokerages.
I'm David Julius.
I thought you went to Papa Dave.
Yeah, Papa Dave. Like, that's my Smurf name, Papa Dave. Papa Smurf. But you say that jokingly, but there are agents that come in and talk about their broker, and they go, Mr. or Mrs., and I go, what are you talking about?
Who's that?
My point is, we watched a leadership the other day, and one was on the airplane, and the pilot was looking for the wallet and crossing the seat belts to help the plane go again and putting bags up. The same way when these guys say, uh-oh, something's wrong in the men's room, I don't go get someone to do it. I go, okay, men's room, my job.
Yeah.
If you're 100, did you see that video?
It was Terry Watson on Monday.
Right.
You were there. You were not.
No, but you saw did you see the airplane one?
Yeah, I was with you.
Okay. Well,
I was right. I was 2 rows behind you.
I know, but we were all in and out. You were at a bylaws meeting.
Right behind you.
So
Which is why I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Right, because he wasn't in front of me. But and I was playing with that spinner thing.
Yes.
And the point I'm saying is that you have to be 100%, and you can't think that you're better than anyone that walks through that front door.
And to double down on that, we're not brokers that are out there doing 30 transactions a year. We're not.
Right.
We're not saying I have my client sitting in the waiting room and I'm going to make $12,000 off of that. I'm only going to make $500 off a transaction or $495. The client's going to come first. You know, we have a saying that I took from one of my mentors, one of my coaches, which we're going to talk about coaching in a little bit here. And he says, his name's Garrett White. He says, you have to be a leader, not a savior, right? And even though we are all leaders and we're not here to save you, that doesn't mean that we're still not going to take care of you. And there's other models out there that are like sink or swim. Too bad. It is what it is, right? And they're going to do their own business and whatever. And maybe their point is, I'm doing so much business, I know how to help you. I don't know how I can at least hold your hand to a degree.
I agree. You know, competing brokers is definitely something to kind of debate and think about. I can't imagine going up against one of my own agents at a listing appointment. I struggle with understanding that dynamic.
That internal conflict is just.
In one of my old companies, the agent went for $1 million home. This was a long time ago, and she lost it to our broker. And she went the next day and quit.
Yeah.
She said, how am I going to beat you? You're the owner of the company. You know my way of doing business. And she quit the next day. And I said, I understand. Yeah. And a lot of ways Dave and I have built this business is agent centric. We built on all the things the agent hated. We made sure we didn't do.
And full disclosure, because this is the way we are. We're real, so we don't shy away. My wife does real estate, right? She's an owner of a company. She's
But she isn't a broker.
She isn't a broker.
She isn't a manager.
And if she hears for 1 second that that the client is talking to another urban nest agent, she pulls away. It's like trying to talk to a girl, but you heard that your buddy is talking to her too. You're like, oh, I'm out. I'm out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Then you wait till they break up with her. And
then everything is totally.
Then all bets are
right,
off.
exactly. All right. So not only has the theme been with us all being here, leadership and coaching. The last 2 days, I've sat in one with you, with Terry Watson.
I didn't sit next to him.
I was behind him. So it was a leadership training, which I did a video. I was like, I didn't even want to go. I love Terry, but I've seen him like 5 times. Totally different, got totally different stuff out of him. And I love Janet, who's going to be our president, but I've been through 10 leadership things in my life. So I was like, I didn't want to go. Well, I got so much out of that. Then I stacked that on day 1 of Tom Ferry. I was able to go
that's right.
yesterday. I mean, obviously I can't be there today, tomorrow. So this whole theme of leadership and coaching, and I want to start with first performance of realtors, and then I want to put underneath it how coaching and leadership can change how that works. So there was a stat yesterday in Pops. I haven't told you this. You're going to love this. There's 1.3 million realtors.
Yes, there is.
What percentage would you say do 25 transactions or more a year? Out of 1.3, what percentage?
25 transactions?
2 deals a month.
Yeah.
2 deals a month.
9%.
3. 43,000 realtors out of 1.3 million. Now this is important for all of you out there. It's important for clients and who you're going to hire, right? It's important for agents where you want to be, right? We're having goals.
How many deals a year?
25. 2 deals a month.
Yeah.
Right? So I could argue, with median prices and what you're making, but even that, you figure it, I think the median price around the country is like $220, $219 for the US. So you're talking about, for everyone thinks that it's easy to be a realtor. Those stats just prove it's not.
But it's simple.
Oh, it's so easy.
It's not easy, but it is simple.
But
Keep what you have to do.
Keep it simple, but at the same time, that's a nice stat, Dave. But if you do 12 transactions a year and you're making $150,000, that's your goal, that's great too.
Not a lot of markets that have $300,000 median prices.
That is true.
Which is what you would have to do.
Which is why it's such a bargain to live
It
in.
really is.
See how we can turn these numbers into positive? That shows you, a stat came out the other day that if you want to rent a house, we are the best bargain in the United States to rent even. So, yes, I agree. Yet we have an affordability problem at that $300,000.
Right.
Well, okay, Mr. ADD, let's talk about the market real quick. I agree. But even when I did the interview, it depends on you got to look at the context. People coming from the Midwest, the East Coast, and coming from California think that I'll take 3, please, because it's so cheap.
Yeah,
Is it your phone?
it just vibrated off.
Oh, I got it.
It keeps vibrating.
So you're talking, yes. Now, if you're someone who's been here 20, 30 years, it probably seems expensive.
Well, it's
Right.
perspective.
Right.
It's always perspective.
But I want to, we're lucky here. I don't want to say, maybe it's not lucky because we put so much into our agents, but we're having a top producer panel, top producer event for our third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's, when is it, this week?
Next day.
It's next week.
At North Italia.
And we got to cut it off at like 26 individuals and 10 teams because we have so many producers. So most companies, you're looking at a 90-10 split, like 10% of the agents doing 90% of the business.
Mm-hmm.
Here, we're like 25 to 30% of the agents are doing 70% of the business. We have a nice mix.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the stat, I don't know if Tom Ferry was right, but he also said in our local market, 60% of the agents have not done even one transaction.
I will bet that
Yeah.
said that is right.
60%. And you're involved with orientation. I teach orientation. And it's a double-edged sword for me because, I look over that crowd of 250 agents and I see promise and excitement, but I also know 87% of them won't be here in 5 years.
9 out of 10.
Right.
And it's extraordinary.
We also have a very interesting thing that I haven't seen in my 21 years here, and a tremendous amount of agents are retiring.
Yes.
They're actually bringing that up when we talk about our stats and finance, that a tremendous amount are getting and saying it's time to retire.
Yeah.
Well, just business in general, right? I'm in some mastermind groups that are multiple businesses. So 9 out of 10 businesses fail in the first 5 years. So what you did with the restaurant alone, because my dad owned a restaurant with 3 other partners. Did you guys know this? In the
I did not know
89,
Mm-hmm.
86, 87 to 97, right?
Here?
10 years.
In-
Vegas.
In Long Island.
A long
Okay.
So 9 out of 10. So it's just like new agents,
Uh-huh.
87%, right? Which is you round it up, 9 out of 10 new agents gone in the first
Right.
5 years, even less.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where the interesting stat, it gets even more interesting. The next 5 years, that 10% that make it, 9 out of 10 are gone again.
Yes.
So you're literally down to 1%
Mm-hmm.
make it. Now, realtors are entrepreneurs. There's no two ways about it.
I hate that word.
But they are, right? I think it's changed.
You
though.
don't
I
like
think
entrepreneur?
I do not like that word because
Business people?
it's gotten manipulated.
I agree. It's
So just a quick story that I think you'll appreciate.
Okay.
Was out with friends, group of friends, we're mixing, and a guy about my age, 40s-ish. I'm like, oh, what do you do? And he's trying to hit on me. And
of course.
so
6 months older. Just saying. You're going.
he's like, I go, what do you do? And he goes, I'm an entrepreneur. And I'm like, it means you live in your mother's basement, doesn't it?
Totally
He goes,
different.
yes, but only for 4 more months.
Different.
Yeah.
Now we
No,
know why
it's-
she hates
it's
the word.
lost.
Then she went like this to him, and that was the end.
If
Yeah.
you lead with entrepreneur, you
You're in
don't do
trouble.
anything, right? Because you
Right.
got to,
But I think that word has been so bastardized over the years that it lost its accountability aspect, it lost its innovation aspect, and it being an entrepreneur does not mean a completely free spirit to do whatever you want when you want. It's a badge that you need to earn where you work in the trenches and you show your accountability and you show your innovativeness. And I think just that word itself has been diluted.
And I agree with that. A friend of mine is thinking about going from public to private, and he said to me, what is it like? And I said, it's like having a gun to your head 24 hours a day, because you either perform or die.
Yeah.
And I know it's like a ruthless way of looking at it.
No, it's
But that's the
absolutely true.
reality, right?
It's
It is.
true. Are the bills getting paid this month, or are we going with cold showers? So,
Exactly.
and it all falls back on you.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's good, whether it's bad, and there's nobody else to point a finger to. It's just looking in the mirror.
But it's a lot of pressure. I mean,
It's a ton of
and
pressure.
I don't think
It's not for everybody.
you don't accidentally end up in leadership. I think it definitely has to be a conscious choice, because, you know, at the end of every month, there's 400 people that rely on our guidance and support and our direction, making the right decisions, when to pull the trigger on the Green Valley office, who the next talent to be hired. You know, the success or the mistake in that is the waves are unbelievable at how far that can trickle down.
So we have an unwritten rule here. You know, the division doesn't lead us or guide us with this, but I think it's in some book. I mean, how many brokers per agent, right? So we have this unwritten 1 broker per 100 agents, right?
Yeah.
And
Which I absolutely love.
well,
You can only be stretched so far.
Well, you know, if you have children and you're sending them to school, the number one thing, you know, I have a degree in education, the number one thing you always ask is, what's the student to teacher ratio?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? So there's multiple studies, probably hundreds if not thousands, that the less agents in the class and the more teachers, the better performance of the students.
So you're saying we're private school, huh?
We are private
We
school.
are.
Ooh, I like
That's
that.
good.
I do like that.
The private school of real estate, baby. I love it. So that's why
And we don't charge you 25.
I was gonna say without the fees.
we're a charter school. We're a
Right.
charter.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's funny. So
Mm-hmm.
that is why it's so important to invest in our people and our people to invest in themselves. And that's what it comes with. That's why coaching, I believe, is so important. So something that we have not done a great job of because of marketing out to the agents, because we're so focused on taking care of our people and we're so excited to deliver it for them, is what we're doing with some coaching, right? So what about, how long ago, Dan? 8 months did we start Brian Buffini coaching?
Yeah, we've gone through, we're on the 4th rotation.
So we're not a Brian Buffini company. Let's just put that out there. We support Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, Jared James, Tyler Smith, Gary Vaynerchuk, Tony Robbins. There's so many. We're going to talk about coaching in a second here as far as the results of coaching. But what we said is, how can we literally look at our agents and go, there's no more excuses, other than just handing them free money, right? So we have the management, the leadership, the staff, the locations, the technology. I mean, down to the fastest Wi-Fi you can buy, right? Everything. And we said, let's also take it a step further and teach them how to fish. Now, all 4 of us can teach them how to fish. What we did was, Brian Buffini offers a 12-week course. It's called Peak Producers. Now, anyone can take this. It's depending upon the special they got going. It's $495 or $395.
$395 to $495,
Right.
depending on when you hit.
The way this works is, our agents pay Buffini directly to take the class. We have made it so that we paid to get people certified to instruct this class. We actually have one of our agents right now teaching it, who is absolutely amazing, Sarah Jessa from the Jessa team,
She's awesome at it.
who works the system. The Jessa team does over 115 transactions a year. So they walk the walk, and they do it in the Buffini system. And basically it's this: if you go through the entire program, because you gotta have skin in the game, right? And you complete it, I think we give them 1 excused absence. You complete it, we will reimburse that investment. So you first invest in yourself, and then you perform, and then we invest in you.
I don't think there's. I don't
Is there
think
another
that,
company doing
no,
that?
no,
Not that I know of.
not
But
that we know.
what is Buffini? There's a lot of people who don't even know what
Good point.
Buffini does. And you know, everybody's got, all these trainers have different things that they specialize in. They may touch on a bunch of different things, but there's one thing that they really focus on. Buffini really focuses on contacting, having that touch factor with your previous clients, with your friends, your family. It's giving you the tools, the content to actually go out and have those conversations, or to come. We always go, well, I don't want to pick up the phone and have, hey, you ready to buy your house? Or congrats, it's been a year, it's this. It's like, you want other reasons to come up, but we get into our bubble and we our creative thoughts just aren't there. So to have that extra support to show us there's other ways to contact them, and it doesn't have to be real estate.
And we felt it was the best first step, because no matter what you're doing, you have to work with the people you know, like, and trust first, right?
Absolutely. These are your biggest supporters.
So before you go and spend tons of money on all sorts of different things,
the golden ticket?
Exactly.
Or
So
the
how
golden
many people
goose.
have graduate from this, Dan?
We have had so far 30 graduate.
Okay,
That's right.
that is about $15,000 out of our pocket.
You're paying it.
And Sarah's classes are on track.
They're on track,
You're
so
talking
that'd be
about
another 10. So this year alone, we're reinvesting back. Now, I challenge anyone, we're reinvesting back 20 grand, not just direct money into our agents. And we feel that the payoff for them, the payoff for us is going to be immeasurable. Because
Absolutely.
it's
Well,
not.
you offered that, so that's out of your end.
I'll take it. I'll take it out. Okay, so.
But that's big, because that's something that they can take with them.
Yes.
Where whatever it is that they choose to do, they're gonna take that whatever they learn from that, that's theirs. You can't take the knowledge away.
Totally agree.
But everything like this that we offer, it removes every obstacle and makes it an individual choice on whether they're going to be successful or not. And so every exterior, obstacle is being moved out of the way. And so, they've got a clear path to success. They just have to take those steps.
So let's talk about coaching. So I'm sitting in Tom Ferry yesterday, and I'm like, what an amazing coach Tom Ferry is, right? I have notes and notes and notes, and for the Nest agents, I'm gonna do a whole Tom Ferry Facebook Live just for Tom Ferry. But I'm sitting there going, wow, this is next level stuff too. And then he's also talking about expireds, which his dad, right, Mike
Yes.
Ferry, is big on. And I was like, wow, even expireds done right is great coaching. So I was thinking about coaching in general. And we pulled up some stats, Georgia, right, of how important coaching is. So how long have you now been working out with a trainer? How many years?
2 years.
2 years. Stronger than you've ever been.
Well, not stronger than my youth, but
But you're like a rock.
stronger than I've been the last 10 years.
Right,
yes.
so everyone thinks of a coach as, in an athletic way, right?
Right.
Therapy is coaching for your brain. Why would you not have a coach in real estate? And there's some amazing stats. I know that Buffini says that his average coaching client makes about $350 grand. I know that Tom Ferry says that his average coaching client makes about $370,000. Do you think that they're part of the 43,000 agents doing more than 25 transactions a year?
Yes.
in terms of coaching?
For sure.
So, George, you pulled up some coaching stats for us, because I wanted to see, George is a much better searcher on Google than me. I wanted to see if there were hard numbers on someone who went from good to great, and what they said with hiring a coach.
Well, one of the biggest stats that I was super impressed with was, one of the questions was, how much did your business increase during the first year you worked with a coach compared to the last year? The biggest answer at about 35% was it increased 10 to 25%. Now, I don't know if you've come from corporate America. You don't get a 10 to 25% raise in 1 year. It doesn't happen.
You won't
A
see
lot
that
of times, if you're even lucky to get a cost of living raise. So to be able to increase your productivity from 10 to 25% in 1 year is huge. And then a little shy of 20% saw a 26 to almost 50% increase. And then 18% saw a 50 to 99% increase in their business. And then a very small amount, which maybe they started pretty early, saw more than a 200% increase in their business.
They went from 0 to 2?
Yes, because what agents don't realize is you're the CEO of your own company and have complete control over what you are going to earn. And so you can't go look around and ask somebody for a raise. You have to ask yourself for a raise and put this stuff into place so you can start recognizing this. But so what this is saying is almost 90% saw 10% or more of an increase. So that's huge.
So it's in the numbers, and it's an investment, because you think it's so expensive? It's really not.
It's
No.
not, but
It's less than $500 a month.
Well, that's expensive if you're just starting out. You see, the great part of, we're talking about coaching, we're talking about success. The great part of here is we have you that teach the new agents, you that love teaching the new agents, that they could start and create their business in the beginning stages within. And then as they get a little success, they can join that coaching program, because in the beginning, when money's tight, it's hard to do it all.
Sure.
So they could start here with you guys training and coaching, and then move up to a coach.
Well, yeah,
as they get
it's
success.
different levels of coaching. The mentee program that we have is completely designed for the mindset of a brand new agent. Then we've got that handoff into the Bruffini program. Then we've got that handoff into the next level. And so there's that clear path. Where you maybe start with that little league coach, and as you increase. But by the time you get to that next level, the next level is, you think of who's the leading basketball player right now?
LeBron.
How many coaches do you think LeBron
Oh my
has?
God.
Yeah.
It's every part of his life.
So it's
Yeah.
actually the intensity and your number of coaches should increase as you go, but finding the right coach for the level you're at is hugely important. If a brand new agent asked me, should I go hire Tom Ferry personally, I'd probably say no.
I would say no.
Totally agree.
Not
Absolutely
not
No,
yet.
That's not the right use of your
But
money.
knowing that right coach for the right time and to graduate and have that path is so crucial.
You bring up an amazing point. So, first, we vet new agents. We don't have a lot of them, right? We have a kind
Less
of
than 10%.
a difficult path in. You got to have an idea of how it's going to be. Then you get rolled into a 12-week program that continues on. It's not just 12; it's recurring. You can watch on video. You can watch it live. So that's kind of, let's say, you're right, Little League, right? Then you can jump into another 12 weeks of Buffini, which is now like high school ball, right? Because now you learned all the basics. Now you're learning how to create business as well.
Right.
When you hit 20 transactions with us, we have a thing called the nest level. It's a little play on words, like next level, urban nest level, right? Where you're gonna have masterminds and a different group. We are rolling out an even higher level, because nest level is like major leagues, right? Or even AAA. The higher level is going to be like 15 million, 40 deals, nest summit, right? And each level requires different coaching, like you say. And there's a step all the way up, and there's a plan all the way up. Great point, Georgia. But really, there's no excuse.
Well, here's the other
No.
thing. I don't know of any place else that even offers how to get you from one to the next and continue through your entire career.
You know,
But having a coach, no matter who you are or where you're at, I think is absolutely crucial.
As soon as you could afford it, I agree.
Yeah, who your coach is when you're getting started, that's us. That's us. We never go away. We're always going to be a part of that. I know players who have gone through and they still reach out to their high school coach. They're still in
Exactly.
contact with
Yes.
these people. So we don't go away. Your team of coaches just expands.
Yes. You just
well,
need
it's
more and
different.
more.
I know a lot of coaches who say, I don't do any broker stuff, right? Because brokering in itself is a different form of coaching, right? So when you're in the middle of a deal, like the coach is just going to show you how to generate business in a lot of ways. The broker is going to be like show you how to close it and navigate through, which in some respects, if not more important than getting the deal.
Right.
You can't do any business without deals, but there are people that I know that you could just hand deals to.
And they can't close.
They can't close it because they don't know how to be a realtor, right?
Right, but as a coach and as a broker, our job is also to help you into this business or help you out of it. It's not,
I love it.
it's not for the faint of heart. This isn't for the weak. This is the intensity, because you are right. And I think, where we feel we've got that gun to our head, so do our agents. And we have to understand that as well. And I'm going to botch this quote, but a great coach is supposed to help you see what you're not willing to see, because I think the majority of what needs to be coached is usually between here.
Exactly.
It's not our market, it's not how to sit in open house, it's in here that's preventing that agent from either getting started or going to their next level.
You know, the best coaches
Exactly.
have coaches.
Mhm.
So my coach in Warrior Garrett probably spends $100,000 a year in coaching. Tony Robbins has coaches. You know, Tom Ferry was telling us about a book written by a guy, Chet Holmes, who is the coach of Tony Robbins, that made his career go this way. So it's like, you have to continually reinvent yourself and commit and invest in yourself. And what you were talking about is in between your ears is your identity.
Mhm.
And that identity is so important because you can't, in order to succeed, you have to have a change of the perception of yourself.
But you have to evolve.
Yes.
You otherwise, you know, you're just gonna be stagnant, you're gonna get lost in the whole shuffle of everything, but that's why it's ongoing, because we're always learning.
The universe is constantly expanding, so our own universe has to expand with it.
Well, I love when you get metaphysical.
Oh, thank you.
It's all in the energy you put out,
Mhm.
it makes a big difference.
All right, so two things. I want to, so some stuff from Terry Watson and some stuff from Tom Ferry. Terry Watson had a great class, but what I loved was, do you have any takeaways before I talk about?
Well, we'll probably have very vastly different takeaways, so.
I loved how he said, only have a problem once, right? So if you're having a problem gaining business, are you at the right brokerage? Do you have the right coaching? Are you doing the right work? What are you doing? So only have that problem once and figure it out. What would you have your takeaway on?
One of the things he said, two things he said we have to live our life and teach our classes. He said, have humor, and he showed us a comedian, and the more you laugh, the more you pay attention.
Mhm.
So I always say to people that come in, yes, this is terrible what's going on in the transaction. Yes, we're gonna work on it, but we have to laugh, because if we don't laugh, we could start crying.
Yeah.
So let's throw humor into the transaction so that we're not making it so serious that we want to. And then he said, for all coaching, tell a story. And in leadership, Dave told a few stories about our past at NAR, and everyone in the room were with him, I wasn't in the class, came up to me and told me a life story about myself. So that's how much stories work. So when you're with a client, tell them a story. Tell them about a past client where their situation may be similar on how to get the house sold or how to do it. So tell a story and add humor to life, because we're too serious, and humor keeps the attention of the people you're in front of.
Stories are important. One of the benefits of being from the East Coast is everyone's got a story, right? Like what happened was, and
Right.
but even with rapport, to bring it all the way back to relationship-based business, and one of my favorite books out there, if you haven't read it, read it. It's called The Go-Giver, right? It's all about doing business with people you know, like, and trust. It is one of the simplest books, but one of the most impactful books you ever read. But in the East Coast, it was very relationship-based. It was so much about who you were and talking and doing the right thing, and right?
And your reputation, not as being one that's number one salesperson, but that respecting and honest and true to who you are was just as important as being successful.
But it also helps you connect. Like, if someone's like, well, do you think I should fix this, Dave? Or is this going to be an issue with the house? Being able to go back into your brain and be like, well, you know, I did have this deal and these friends that, you know, they didn't fix it, and this is what happened, and blah, 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 blah. It's easy, it's more relatable, and it links things up better than being like, nope, you got to fix this. Well, it's going to cost $5,000. I don't care, you got to fix it.
No, that's not gonna go, it's like,
Tell a
now we're butting heads where, again, if you're relatable, it's also, talling stories makes you more authentic,
Great
and
point.
you know, like you were saying, if you're focused on being number one, you're gonna miss it.
Yes.
You're gonna miss it for long. You might hit it for a second, and then it's gonna be gone. But if it's an authentic, it's coming from inside, you'll get there and you'll stay there.
Profit without the purpose, you'll burn out. You
Yeah.
you gotta have a bigger
Absolutely.
reason, without a doubt.
Yeah, your why is.
But I think through stories is a way to, because with teaching, I try to use a lot of humor and a lot of stories to connect. And I think, you know, when you tell those stories, it allows you to show your vulnerability, which is, those are on the levels that people connect. And, you know, after a class, you know, I've had people come and say, you know, I feel like you understood exactly who I am and what I'm trying to do. And that was meaningful, because, you know, for so many years, it's like, oh, you must make sure you hear the other side, make sure you hear it. Hearing the other side isn't good enough anymore. You need to seek and to understand that other person. The understanding is where we end a lot of times, and where that top 3% don't end and actually, you know, take it the distance.
And that's true. You gotta be, if you say I've done this and you kind of throw yourself under the bus first, you connect even more. All right, one more takeaway, which I thought was a great mindset shift, came from Tom Ferry. He said, you know, there is a shift in the market. You happy? There were tons of people.
A shift.
A shift.
A shift.
But he did agree.
Like a ship in the night. Go ahead.
He did agree that it feels like a greater shift because for the last couple of years, and this is what I said,
true.
it has been so seller oriented, right? And he said what's going to happen is, if the shift continues, you're going to see a lot of agents drop out of the business, which I believe is a great thing. But he said where the other agents can't make a mistake is start saying, I'm not going to market as much. I'm not going to spend as much per month. He said, don't get me wrong, don't spend stupid things. Take a hard look, audit your business. But this is what I love. He said, now is the time to double down.
Amp it up.
Amp it up.
That's what I've been
Because when
saying.
everyone's running the other direction, you run towards it, right?
Absolutely.
And when everyone's like, uh-oh, I better stop my spend, I better live in scarcity, that's the time to jump in even deeper, because you're going to be...
Do you mean like when we opened the business
In 2012?
12, and it was one of the worst markets, and I was president of the local board in 13, and the median price was the lowest, and everyone was crying.
150,
And isn't
117,000.
that when we opened this business?
But
We didn't run away, we ran in.
more successful businesses, more millionaires are created during the tough times. There was
You owe
amazing
me
amount
money, I'm gonna be a
amazing amount of people that doubled down during the Depression. They're the wealthiest families in the entire world now.
Right.
So that is a mindset shift that I think everybody has to look at, no matter what business you're in. You know, Tom Ferry talked about, you know, your business being undisruptable, right? Built of bricks, right? And
The wolf can't break
can't break it down. That's exactly what he used, actually.
Did he really?
Exactly.
See, my brain goes there.
Absolutely right. And he said, you know, Tony Robbins likes to say this, and this is probably where Tom Ferry got it from. It's kind of like a play on the Game of Thrones. Winter is eventually coming. It's eventually coming. If you look at the deep, deep analysis of what has happened over the last 20 years, it's going to look like this from far away, but if you look close, it's going to go
Hills and
like
valleys.
this, right? So, can your business withstand the valley, right? And when the valley's coming, it could be in 24 months. It could be in 5 years. We don't know.
Now that being said,
Double down.
I don't believe that we're going to the valley.
I don't either.
I
Not
don't
yet.
believe we're doing this. I think what we did was go this, and we got a little ridge there of straightness.
You know what he
going
said?
We're gonna taper off, we're gonna level
Right.
out.
But I think that the message is, this is who I am, this is what I do. The market is absolutely irrelevant. This
Yes,
is,
I love that.
You know, this is
Yeah.
what I do. I show up when the market's great, I show up when the market isn't that great, and still do what I do best, no matter what. And that's gonna create that little Darwinistic approach to agents getting out of this business. It's, the market doesn't dictate who I am and what I do and what my success is going to look like. I do. And I think that's the biggest difference. So whether we're in the peak, whether we're in the valley, I must show up as the best version of me, and so does every single agent out there.
Absolutely, but that makes a difference that you were saying earlier, which is that real estate gets in your blood. It becomes part of your DNA.
It's a lifestyle.
It is absolutely a lifestyle. You never get to take your realtor hat off and go back to being, you're either in or you're out.
And that's, guess what? And that's why you're a leader 24 hours a day. You're a coach 24 hours a day, right? You're a realtor. And a true realtor is walking into someone's house for dinner and looking around and being like, wow, there's that. I know it's obnoxious, but that's what it is.
It is who we are.
A little aside, when you guys were talking about the market, Tom Ferry made a great point. He said, think more post 9/11 market when it does dip than 6, 7, 8, and 9. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You guys remember 2000? Everyone obviously remembers 9/11, but the market, we had a little recession after 9/11. Remember the casinos were. Remember what the casinos did?
Yeah.
They laid off everybody.
What did I do when we had that?
You got to give this man credit. He bought a brand new house literally like 2 days after 9/11 because everyone started slashing prices. He jumped right back in and bought.
Jumped in and bought a rental.
Like you said, that comes from, what were you doing? You were a fireman before, you just can't stop running in.
No, I always run it.
Runs into the fire.
And yesterday I went to Reno for the state meetings. You know, we did legislative and Never Pack. And on the plane, I met one of the senior executives in Toll Brothers and spoke to her. I got a buyer that wants to come down here. He's staying at Red Rock in 2 weeks with his wife. And I said,
you were one of
let's just go for lunch.
This is so you.
I'm on the plane and all
He does this on the
surrounded.
plane. Don't you have an assigned seat?
Wait a minute, surrounded by 30 realtors that got on the plane with me, and I'm the one, and then my friends that listened said, Dave, and I said, opportunity. There's a builder, we're gonna do some builder events with her over at Toll. I said, and there's a buyer that can't decide between Reno, and we'll meet with him and then give him off to one of our agents. I don't sell, but I said to him, I'm not gonna sell you a house, but I will show you why you need to live in Las Vegas instead of Reno. That is who I am, like you said. And all the other realtors were saying, why didn't I do any of that, Dave?
Well, it's a captive audience. They're not going anywhere.
Yeah, it was Catholic. We were sitting there together.
There's no headphones and sit next to him. That's basically, and you know what? There's no headphones when you're with us. So we are right 52 minutes in. Thank you for staying. This is kind of a little peek into what our Monday manager meetings are like. Literally, Dan, I want to make sure that you turn that thing around. Come say hi. Get on this side.
I will say, let me just say, as the newest person,
The new girl in
that
town.
I am super impressed with the staff that is here. You guys are intuitive. You go above and beyond. You are always smiling. What I hear, how you guys interact with the agents and whatnot, it is top notch.
Thank you.
Top notch.
The best.
We've been told by the best.
The best. Well, thank you for tuning in. Like I said, a little bit of sneak peek into what we do, and we'll see you next week.
Definitely. Bye, guys.
It's a new girl in town.
Oh, there.